Easy Hoon did play with some good vision around the mid lane, and
yeah.
to be fair to Tom, there were a lot of pink wards around mid lane
yes.
in the early part of that game, which allowed Easy Hoon to press forward, play aggressively, and take out that turret at tier 1 fairly early on. Bengi playing a lot more of that kind of style, where he does get a lot of warding around the mid lane, tends to hover around there for counter ganks as well. Having played with Faker for so long, does make sense.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they have played with this combination before, but not too often. Generally, Easy Hoon paired right up with Bengi and the LeBlanc band, as always, coming in with Easy Hoon in the booth for SK Telecom T1.
Yeah, there's a Kalista as well. So Samsung taking Bang's Kalista seriously enough this time, even though they were willing to play the Varus and Nami into it in their encounter earlier this week with Jin Air. So Rek'Sai again being banned. I think that's a very important ban. And Sivir by SKT. I really like these bans from SK Telecom. That has been kind of the core of Samsung's identity. Get Fury on Sivir, and then see if you can pull out a win with a split-pushing Rek'Sai. Now, Samsung could go back to Cassiopeia first pick, now that it wasn't banned. What will Crown's answer be?
Yeah, I mean, the Azir banned, but not the Cassiopeia. I find that interesting, but I guess they just deem that Easy Hoon's Azir much better than Cassiopeia. A lot of people do think that. They call him Emperor Easy Hoon here in Korea.
So, for Samsung, will we see a return to some of their Nidalee strategies with Eve that actually looked pretty successful against Jin Air? Are we going to see their play from the start of the season where Eve would play a lot of Nunu and then walk into lane, blood boil a Jinx, and then fast push? That could work here too. Nope, they're just going to play Gragas Corki, be boring.
So disappointing, Samsung. We talked so much about what you do. I mean, they could still make some big differences, especially in the mid lane here. Pretty interested in what Crown's going to pick up against Easy Hoon's Cassiopeia. Nothing to laugh at, even if it's not the Azir.
All right, it will be Corki Gragas, so exactly the same red side draft from Samsung that we saw from SK Telecom in that first round this game. Where do you go from here if you're SKT? Could go for the Janna once more. Probably want to go for a Nunu or Sejuani if you're Bengi.
Bengi's Nunu is...
Oh, could go for Evelynn.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of Evelynn right here. Why I say Sejuani is that Sejuani is something that can help break sieges with Corki in the mid game and help you hold on to get that Cassiopeia up in terms of the power.
Bengi just calming himself down. He's like, oh, okay, I got the other. Oh, okay, I can do it. The Ezreal, not surprising, obviously Lucian open, but Bang has been falling back onto that Ezreal for a little bit more consistency lately, especially when Easy Hoon is there. They can just constantly both do continued damage. Oh man, is it the Yasuo mid?
Jin Air picks it against Cassiopeia. It is a good lane matchup for Yasuo. The problem is, what do you do with this champion late? And are they going back to... Are they going over to that Veigar? Have they actually transformed into Jin Air this game? Mid Yasuo Veigar support. Okay.
Well, Wraith does like funky supports. He's played quite a few, including the Syndra, which was rather successful. And Wraith is generally a very mechanical player.
This would be bold, and I think that is going to be a more stable selection. Yes, go for the Hecarim.
Oh, well, that's
against
boring.
the Cassiopeia. Well, I just hate that Yasuo, Chobra. It's so
well, I was
bad.
more excited about the Veigar. The Yasuo I could care less about, to be honest. But it looks like it will be the Nautilus and the Hecarim. So yeah, like you mentioned, Cassiopeia a pretty stationary champion, so Hecarim should be able to get a good angle onto her, or at least, maybe even force the Petrifying Gaze onto only one target. Sacrifice yourself for the good of the team, and then the Explosive Cast can do work onto that mid lane champion. Also, just such a huge front line for Samsung this game. I'm a bit concerned about the lack of damage, relatively, coming out of champions like Evelynn and Ezreal in the late game. Same thing with Rumble. Hovering over that Braum. Interestingly enough, KT really the only Braum team right now in Korea. Only Fixer playing that champion, so it would be a surprise to see it come out for SKT.
even if they are going to be able to block a lot of Corki rockets. And when KT plays Braum, it's usually against Corki in lane, where Braum could just hop in front with the Unbreakable and block the P-Bomb early. So you can win a lot of trades playing Braum that way, and that'll be a Braum lock-in.
Yeah, well, you can block a lot from Gragas too, and of course when Hecarim's coming in, your slows are going to help a lot. So Braum clearly has some distinct advantages in this team matchup, but how well is SKT T1 prepared to use it, we'll have to find out.
I'm just a little concerned that there's not a lot of follow-up flank for the Evelynn. I feel like if Bengi mistimes this, or if the equalizer has to be used in an awkward fashion, there's not really a great engage. Usually with Evelynn, you want a Hecarim there or a Maokai also coming in from the side. They are trolling right now with a mid-lane Irelia hover.
And now the Katarina hover. And then the Fizz, all right. Well, Crown has been playing quite a bit of Fizz. Word on the block. And Fizz, I mean, they love to fight. They have that Gragas for the single target picks. The Hecarim too to just completely disrupt the fight.
Hecarim Fizz makes it very difficult for Cassiopeia to actually stay alive. There's so many vectors of attack that you can't protect yourself very well with a Petrifying Gaze. And that'll be a Fizz lock-in. They were hovering over it for the entire Champ Select, committing to it in the end. The issue can be getting some CS early in this game, but late game, Samsung's composition is going to be quite scary. And SK Telecoms will start to taper off a little. Bang will have to be huge from that backline if this EasyHoon Cassiopeia goes down early. I'm very interested to see how the laning phase is going to work out. There's a lot of kill pressure with Fizz and Gragas in a lane.
Bengi. New clap this time. I mean, SKT was famous for like clapping their hands to get rid of their nerves, and now he's clapping the back of his hands together.
You got to warm up.
It's good. I mean, I love it. It has helped them win quite a few tournaments in the past.
Well, you know, sometimes you just get bored of front clapping every game, so you got to give yourself a little back clap variation.
All right. Well, soon enough, Bengi will be clapping EasyHoon on the face. He's just gonna be like, "Hey, give me your face." It's like, "Wake up, EasyHoon. Talk to me." Well, there are the final lineups, and like you mentioned, SKT, if it goes to the late, it could be pretty dangerous. Even if Bang gets big, the poke coming in from the Corki could be even greater, and even the Gragas able to poke a little bit, and always the threat of the Hecarim from the side. The Nautilus also able to just blatantly start the fight with his depth charge.
I'm very curious as to whether EasyHoon can stay alive in this game.
Well, let's find out. He does have a good reputation for it as we jump into game number 2 between Samsung and SKT. Full house today in the studio. Good to see.
You know what's weird, Chobra, about those cheers? Is that every other team, you would cheer KT or Samsung.
Yeah.
Only with SKT do they cheer T1, the actual team name, instead of the sponsor.
Yeah, but I think that's good. I mean, SKT T1 has always been so proud of their team brand. I mean, you know, they have their ceremony for, you know, dating back to the old Grudor days of when they win tournaments, putting up the T1 sign, and they've always just had a lot more reputation. They're also, T1's easier to say in Korean than Rolster.
That's very true.
Just gonna put that out there. So that might have something to do with it.
Also, Rolster fighting just sounds terrible in any language. Actually, Rolster just sounds terrible. KT,
go, Roasters, go.
Change your name.
All right.
Not back to Finger Boom, though. That wasn't a good one. KT actually, for a period of about a week, changed their name to Finger Boom. I'm not joking. You can Google it. There are logos.
Oh, man. They're never going to live that down, ever.
Hilarious. I didn't do it. KT did it to themselves. Pro tip companies, if you are not an English company, please vet any English you have, especially large branding with an English speaker. Goes for any language, really.
Yeah, you should really double check that, cross check that. And SKT looking for a 3 versus 2 cheese. They're going full Samsung now, and oh, Wraith narrowly dodges that, but the Flame Spitter going into the minions. Wraith kind of sensed it at the very end. He's going to get stunned with the Winter's Bite there from Wolf, but eventually escapes, and they actually just used an exhaust and traded for a flash. Now, they are going to deny Fury quite a bit of CS here early on, so that'll be the big benefit.
Okay, so when you do something like that, that was while Kuve was actually farming Raptors, and so Kuve is going to have a level advantage in the top side now. So Bang and Wolf really have to make this count because they traded a top lane advantage for a bottom lane advantage.
Yes.
It's basically what they did right there. So now the burden is going to be on Kuve and on Bang and Wolf to see who can get more out of this.
Well, you know, especially for Marin, though, we saw that last game too. Marin not too afraid of falling behind a little bit early on. He can always find a way to catch up with the split pushing and constant farming while being very aware of his TP timings. So we'll see if that plays a role again in this game number 2. Meanwhile, Crown doing, you know, as well as he could in a Fizz versus Cassiopeia matchup in the early levels with the farm.
You see right there just the positioning from Nautilus. He's trying to block any skill shots coming in onto Fury. He's constantly keeping his model in front of Corky's. Just because there's not a lot of AoE here, you're basically fighting against a Mystic Shot and a Winter's Bite, so it doesn't matter really if you group up too much.
Ooh, but a nice corner shot from Bang. Get a slight advantage there. Rumble, 100% for Marin. Pretty impressive stat.
That must be this season because I do know that he has about a 67% win rate on that champion overall, and it is his most played champion, so I also know he has lost on it on numerous occasions.
Yeah, it's definitely not as legendary as some other things like Death's Jinx and no longer Faker's LeBlanc, but Fakers are really... Oh, nice scan coming in from Samsung, and Fizz just goes in. There's the exhaust, so it's going to do a lot. He doesn't have Playful Trickster, but he gets the first blood, he gets the level up, and the pot's going, and he survives. Wow.
Very close. Big investment. They have to use an extra summoner now. Bengi going to try and make a play onto Marin in the top side. Kuve's going in.
Wow, yeah, he doesn't have an escape here. Oh, he's going to be able to run out, but there's a Chilling Smite coming in. There's a Flame Spitter, and the lifesteal not really going to be enough for Kuve. And Bengi picks up a kill.
Really greedy from Kuve in that top side. They knew that Evelyn wasn't in the mid lane, and so there was a lot of risk with using the E in that way and trying to punish Marin, and he really pays for it. So there goes the advantage at the top side. Crown on this Fizz, though. Looks like he's going for a Sheen first, getting that burst damage, and then transitioning into AP after that, probably. Going to be a death cap. So we'll see how it works out.
Bang gets caught with a nice hook, and there's the Unbreakable, but it doesn't matter. Already so much damage down onto Bang. And yeah, Kuve did get a little greedy. I mean, maybe assumed just Evelyn would show up in mid to defend, but either way, also you were pretty close to the enemy turret. Didn't have your teleport, so he's going to have to walk all the way back. Now, of course, like you mentioned, Monty, he had that lead early on, so he's not entirely behind right now. It's just he lost that lead, and that's going to matter quite a bit against Marin's Rumble.
Yes, indeed. And Kuve starting to be a little bit more conservative. Eve wants to come up here. Bengi is there. He's walking through lane right now. See if they can turn this one around. Eve has been sighted already by the Tri-Brush, and he's just going to walk in and show himself, not commit to much of anything. Scare him out of the top side. Wants to go for the Scuttle Crab instead. Take that objective away from Bengi. Marin still needs to be very careful pushing up. Did just drop a Trinket Ward in the river, so he has full coverage over that lane, and Eve really not going to find too much right now.
Oh, look at this. Crown just shoving EasyHoon out with that Sheen extra burst, and now the level advantage.
This is really rough that he got the Sheen so early, because EasyHoon is in a big power drop with his tier right now, and he basically can't trade with this Fizz at the current time. So they're going to try and turn this around into another advantage.
Oh, and I think the ult went on him. He doesn't have Flash. There's a body slam. That's going to be an easy kill for Crown, and it can happen again for quite some time. Flash still down for EasyHoon.
Yeah. rough situation. Now they're trying to turn this into an advantage from Marin. Let's see if they can get Kuve. No level 6 for Hecarim.
Yeah, Equalizer is here, and Kuve just trying to escape as much as he can. A lot of tower damage onto Marin, though Kuve might be able to actually turn this around. Bengi doesn't get it, but there's the onslaught of shadows and an instant double kill. Kuve, such excellent play, that little grin. And now the hook in bottom lane. We are seeing
Here
Eve
comes
come
level
down.
6, he's 6, he's
Yeah,
6.
explosive casket is there. Race is trying to last out as long as possible, and there's a Valkyrie forward, even with that exhaust. Fury might have gone a little too deep, but there's the explosive casket against the wall, though. P-bomb right as Ezreal flashes out. Gets the kill, and Samsung taking a huge lead.
Yeah, little dicey there in terms of the gank from Eve. Not exactly very well executed. They could have gotten both of those kills, I think.
Yeah.
But they still pull off one. Kills in all 3 lanes for Samsung. They go up by 2,000 gold. Crown is terrifying now. And that turnaround from Kuve, Bengi really overcommitting to that tower dive with Marin. And Kuve getting level 6 off the wave under the tower, so he was able to turn it around. They're getting a bit desperate here.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough. I mean, you have the Evelynn, who's not known for her late game, and you have a Fizz, who, if he's 2-0 and 20 CS behind, he's still all right in the game. But now he's 10 CS up. He still has a wave to clean up here. Should be able to get at least half of it, probably more, especially using his skills. And Cassiopeia is still just working on stacking up that tier. Has to go for the null magic mantle just to hope to survive a little bit longer. But even if the flash comes back up, if Eve shows up again, I mean, I don't really see Easy living too easily.
Yeah, another thing that we haven't talked about yet is Kuve with the Ignite in the top lane. Not running the Smite this time, and that Ignite makes that dive even more dangerous. If he just had a Skirmisher Saber, and not even that early on in this game, it would have been an issue. But since he did have that extra true damage, he was able to really pile on. And look at what's going to happen in this game, too, as we advance the clock about 10 minutes in the future. Bang has gone tier. I really don't like this. Double tier against triple Trinity Force. Samsung's going to come into an absolutely ludicrous power spike, and I don't know if SKT is going to be able to handle it.
Kuve starting the fight onto Marin. Bengi's going to show up, but here's Eve. He does have explosive cast. Nice equalizer, but equalizer or explosive cast all the way back towards the turret, and Kuve just able to put out auto attack damage, and Eve just going to pick up the kill there. Ooh, the True Shot Barrage almost hitting. Wouldn't have gotten the kill, though.
Man, I really don't like the fact that Bang went tier in the bottom side. You already have a scaling mid laner. You don't have to be that greedy onto Ezreal at all.
Yeah, I mean, Fury's going to punish him really hard for that. Crown's going to punish anyone at this point in this game.
And as soon as the Trinity Force completes, I mean, Crown probably won't go Trinity Force, he'll go for the Lich Bane,
right.
But even so, just the Sheen Burst is what's key, and they're going to be able just to dive mercilessly. So Samsung, obviously, in extremely good position, not only in terms of the gold lead, but because that's accelerated a power spike against an SK Telecom team that's in a massive trough right now. So they should be able to abuse this really hard.
Oh, well, here comes the depth charge. Crown not getting his damage from the Playful Trickster, though. Yeah, Eve showing up a little late. So a little bit greedy, I mean, especially after Crown missed his ultimate.
Yeah, that was a miscommunication you have to feel, because Crown, without the ultimate, not really going to be able to follow up.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, he already used his Playful Tracer, so he couldn't dodge the Petrifying Gaze. So that's going to, you know, delay the next skill in mid lane for a little while, although we do still have Eve roaming about. Doesn't have the explosive cask just yet. But they'll take this time to ruin Bengi's jungle, just trying to keep tabs on this Evelynn all throughout. They know the red buff is still there. Nice pink ward.
They see him.
Yeah, they see Bengi, but the bottom lane is already missing. Here. And so Eve just going to go over the wall. Ezreal going to activate the dragon to get some damage down. And not going to matter too much. Everyone just returns to their original positions. And Kuve just charging forward. He knows he can trade pretty aggressively. He has that extra regen in terms of his items.
Yeah, Bengi going to have to clear out this pink ward right now. They know exactly where he is. They're trying to push this up. Samsung, they really need to start thinking about this dragon right now, considering the pressure that they have and the potential to score some even more kills here in the early game. Fury.
Oh, and there's the hook onto Wolf. Wolf uses his Fissure, but it's not enough. Wraith gets the instant kill. Fury takes a lot of damage. Explosive cast going to be dodged by Bang with the Arcane Shift, and there's a True Shot Barrage. Fury dodges it, but if he gets hit by one Mystic Shot, Bengi could come in, take the kill, and run out. So they will back out. Now, in the meantime, Crown picks up his Lich Bane right away and boots. He hadn't gone back since that second kill.
And so a lot of purchases about to be coming in.
Yeah, I mean, that allowed EasyHoon to get some farm down and catch up. He now has his parts to the Abyssal Scepter, but Crown is still going to rip through pretty much anyone he runs into if he can get the Chum the Waters on them.
Yeah, we're 3 to 4 minutes out from the big Trinity Force Lich Bane craziness that's about to happen for Samsung. And I like that they keep playing aggressively here. Look at Crown going into the jungle.
Oh, and there's also Shadows. There's a flash forward, the slow, and the stun from Wraith, and the hook. Marin just has been locked up. Kuve picks it up, and there's the Chum the Waters onto Bengi. An instant kill for Crown. This is what Fizz does if he gets the first blood.
Eve. Valk over the wall.
Yeah, Fury's going to Valk over Flash and just trying to get some burst down. Eve has been slowed down, gets the barrel onto Bang, forces the Flash out.
That's
no
a dragon
cast,
for sure right here. Fury trying to land those last skill shots. Can't quite hit it.
Very close. Crown, meanwhile, just returning safely to lane, not giving EasyHoon a chance to counteract his kill. EasyHoon does have both summoners. Crown doesn't have the flash. He's a little low on mana, but we have 3 people shooting. Ray just getting closer for the depth charge. And there's a Predator Vice gets dodged by Crown, and there's the burst coming in. Eve picks it up. This game is running out of control in favor of Samsung.
Well, it started here with that little cheese by SKT, and it seemed like they were going to get some sort of advantage, but Eve with these nice Gragas ganks has set up Crown so well, and Bengi he got the answering gank at the top side, but then overcommitted, and with the solo kill in the mid lane, well, actually it was the second kill onto EasyHoon, and then the reverse on the tower dive in top side. Everything has just been a disaster for SKT as they just get outplayed, and it's not like they're going to be heading into a part of the game where they are strong. This is, if everything was even, this would be one of their weakest points. And now, at 14 minutes, they are down 1 kill to 10. And this is where the big items really start rolling in. Man, they're lucky that Corki doesn't have a Trinity Force yet.
Yeah, so close, but he's going to need just a little bit more time. And because of just, how you got to stagger your timings of going home, it's going to buy SKT actually a decent amount of time before Fury gets too crazy. Kuve doesn't have his ultimate, so SKT knows he doesn't have an escape, and Marin actually just going in, baiting Kuve into this fight. Kuve running right into it, but Marin's taking a lot of damage, and Kuve will just be able to run out. Wolf showing up, though, not in range. There's the equalizer. Kuve taking a lot. He has his ult now. Bengi needs to watch out. And Kuve just safely backing out. He has his teleport, too.
Yeah, there's True Shot Barrage.
True Shot Barrage. You see the pings going in, so Kuve just going to gallop away.
Yeah,
give up the CS.
His teammates saw that one coming, so gave him well in advance that warning.
Yeah, very well done.
Now they get some free alone time on the bottom side, some wards in bottom as well, and that's SKT just not taking a tower in the top lane. Fury slowly working his way onto this turret, just pulling the minions aside so he can deny as much CS as possible.
Meanwhile, Wraith and Eve on ward clearing duty and making sure that no one on SKT is safe, whereas they transition from one section of the map to another. Crown now level 11 has that level advantage and the ult advantage really against EasyHoon.
Nice denial by Fury. The rest of this team just getting there so they don't get experience or anything at all from this minion wave. Very well played objectives by Samsung, and that'll be even more gold in the pockets of these Samsung players. SK Telecom just not doing a whole lot this game besides getting outplayed across the board.
Yeah, everyone from Samsung now showing up the mid lane. And look at this, SKT just has to watch them charge in and then back out. You don't really have an answer because right now, Bang, because he has that mana immune, he really wants to just keep farming up. He wants to clear that wave to make sure that it shoves back out and evens out a little bit. But the tower is pretty low. The turret's right there. Eve actually just goes ahead, gets his supposed cast, but the hook's not going to hit. Crown turning things around, gets to Chum the Waters onto Wolf. It's not the greatest target. Equalizer actually coming in from Martin. Is this a turnaround from SKT? They do pick up 1 kill.
Yeah, they get 1. Kuve still alone in the top side. Can TP into this if they decide
he has home guards.
They want to go all in. I think they can kill the Cassiopeia again, but they don't believe the same. So they're just going to go back up into top.
I guess, you know, they decided, you know what, we took a risk there. Let's take a step back, just refocus. It's okay. We just gave up one death, but not really wanting to risk any more when the adrenaline's pumping through after that second death of the game for Samsung.
They need to be more decisive about that because Kuve actually lost a lot of damage onto the top side by recalling right there.
Yes.
Instead of just going for the turret kill or at least the chip damage, denying the wave a tad. And that is a problem. You really have to be more decisive about those situations and continue to stack advantages while you can. He wants Bang. Bang's low.
Yeah, he doesn't have Chum the Waters, though, so he was waiting to see if Wraith could also get an angle there. Not going to find it, so he'll just clear out that big wave. Fury now on lane pushing duty as he finishes that Trinity for us. Kuve still able to shove Marin out of lane. Marin had to go for that Seeker's arm guard, and Fury just going to take this mid tier 1. Not going to worry too much about managing the CS there in the mid lane.
That'd be quite impressive if Samsung were able to take this game, the first game loss for SKT so far this season. They've taken out Najin, they've taken out the Ku Tigers without losing a game, but Samsung giving them a lot more trouble. Here we go, tower dive.
Rage just going to walk forward, gets the slow onto Marin. He's still tanking the tower. Fury going ahead, and he Valkyries forward for the kill. Kuve now tanking the turret, but actually they can't walk back through, and Fury just takes a lot of turret damage as he turns around for a kill. Petrifying Gaze over the wall. Fury actually flashes back over into the turret, and Kuve just trying to distract everyone as long as possible. Maybe pick up a kill onto Bengi. He's not going to get it. Meanwhile, Bang gets a kill onto Fury. Things are getting really messy for Samsung right now, and you don't have Crown here, so Samsung just trying to buy as much time as possible, but they might give away way too many kills. Crown trying to make this worth it by taking the tier 2 in mid, Wraith getting the slow and then flashing over the wall, denying one last kill over to EasyHoon. And yeah, you get the tier 2, but that's quite a few kills going over. 3 extra kills to SKT.
They still have that large gold lead, though. It was a bit sloppy. Marin not able to actually get to the turret in time to save it. But can they kill the top tier 1? It looks like they're not going to commit to that. Let's take a look at this again. Marin flashes through. Fury wants to go onto this. There's the True Shot Barrage. And they commit really hard onto Bengi and Wolf right here. And it is already a 4v4 when Samsung took some turret hits, and EasyHoon therefore is able to get that isolated target, really just lay into Kuve with the twin bangs. And somehow, I didn't really catch how Fury went down in that last fight.
I think
getting targeted by Bang. But
yeah, I think possibly actually just the extra minions that were up there. Or just one Mystic shot across the wall as Fury turned around. But Fury also had to take like 2 extra turret shots there as
he was flashing in and out with Valk, and it was a little dirty.
Yeah, so Samsung, they do need to clean up their play a little bit. Yeah, like you mentioned, they have that lead, but if this is how every fight goes, then SKT doesn't feel too bad about where they are.
And this is the point where they're at their strongest. Look at this, 2 Trinity Forces, Lich Bane and Morellonomicon. They are good to go here. For pressure, they have to be able to win these fights.
Equalizer as the turret is pretty low, so Kuve decides this time I'll just give it up, not going to bother with the onslaught of shadows. You have 2 members there, I'll respect that. Dragon does go in favor of Samsung. Now Crown has been walking alone for quite some time. He's been able to push up that bottom lane. He's going to draw someone out there. It's going to be Marin as he has teleport. Now Crown looking for an opportunity as someone comes in to get a kill onto Fury, but he's been noted as he watched through the jungle earlier. Crown really deep. I mean, he knows he can win any 1v1 right now.
Yeah, he just wants to get a pick as well as he can. There's the True Shot Barrage, and Wolf going to get delayed there as the blue buff is passed to Bang. Oh, Crown.
Oh, you can win a 1v1, but not a 2v1. And we do have Kuve coming in, and Crown's actually going to make his escape. Kuve distracting Marin long enough, but that had to be the teleport used. And the flash from Crown, too. So Crown...
Yeah, that was definitely not worth it. He didn't even really do damage to anyone in that situation. I'd love to see what went down
on the bottom
side of the map.
I'm assuming the ultimate had to have missed. or as soon as he put his Chum the Waters down, Bengi counteracted with his ultimate and just denied the opportunity. Something had to have happened and gone wrong. But I really think Samsung, okay, sure, Crown can get the 1v1, but you could just kind of group and move as 5 and then just leave 1 and keep trying to go back to that one person to get those picks.
Exactly. And that's what you need to do right now. This is your time to shine. You're never going to be more powerful than you are right now if you're Samsung in comparison to the enemy who still doesn't have a Muramana, doesn't have a Seraph's Embrace. This is the time to strike.
And Samsung will be able to protect this tier 1 and bottom for now. Actually, maybe not. A lot of poke coming in. Yeah, Fury shows up though. True Sharp Barrage being used just to shove it in. And Fury getting some poke down, but Fury's low on mana.
Still, more towers in favor of Samsung. They grab the tier 1. Still holding. Easy Hoon. Getting close to that. He's backing off as everyone goes into the bottom side jungle. He doesn't have vision any longer, and he starts to get a little bit afraid. Want to make a play, perhaps, onto this Fizz. Not really something that is the easiest to do.
Yeah, now Crown, sure, he's getting these turrets through the split push, and it's working out okay. But like you mentioned, I mean, your power lies in dueling and just trading skirmishes against SKT, and as time goes on, Easy is just going to be happier about where the game is going.
And Samsung has to get the wards in right now. Look how defensively SKT is playing this game. 3 wards, pink wards in their top side jungle. They're trying to deny vision because they need to shut down Crown. They don't want him to know where they are, to have a chance to go into that jungle and create a pick by himself, but there has to be a lot better play in the vision game from Samsung if they want to pull this out. They should be grouping up as 4 and then trying to deny vision so that Fizz is constantly threatening from the jungle to get one of those solo kills.
Yeah, Samsung somehow ended up initiating this odd split push situation for themselves, which SKT prefers. I mean, Bang can just split push on his own pretty safely. Easyun can push out very well. Marin, obviously, with that teleport, is going to be happy split pushing. So Samsung putting themselves into a bit of a rut in terms of tempo right when they're the strongest. We keep mentioning that as the window starts to close a little bit. Sure, they still have that decent lead of 5K, but it hasn't grown since then.
Yeah, SKT at least has held out in some of these fights, started to play a smarter game, and here we go. Finally starting to actually group
there we go.
And siege a tower. This is where they need to be. Hecarim can even threaten the inhibitor at this stage.
Yeah, it doesn't have the teleport, but he can definitely threaten a lot in the bottom. Equalizer being used.
That's how threatened SKT is by this grouping early on.
Yeah, well, that is what Samsung needs to keep doing, and if they keep this up, Hecarim could constantly bounce back and forth and keep shoving out that bottom lane. They did see Marin kind of leave the top lane, so Kuvi going to back out, farm the Krugs, and then Crown now going to take split pushing duty. And this is much more organized.
Yeah, they finally allocated their resources to put pressure on all 3 lanes at the same time.
Crown a little bit in danger. Now Bang does need to watch out. He doesn't want to chase too far.
Not enough vision for Samsung, though. And it actually is a blessing that Bengi is playing Eve this game, because the fact that they can't see Bengi means that they have to play a lot more cautiously than they would have otherwise. They need those pink wards to see him. Without Bengi farming, there's just not a lot of evidence about where he is on the map. 1 minute till the next dragon. This could be number 3 for Samsung, but they're still looking at a pretty late 5 dragon stack.
Yeah, Chum the Waters onto Bang. Crown actually committing too much to this fight, and he can't Q over the wall onto the Gromp. He has to Playful Trickster out, but Bengi's going to pick up that kill, and Crown's just been getting too greedy about confidently winning 1v1s. It's the second time that you thought you had a 1v1, turned into a 2v1. You have to realize what's going on now.
Yeah, and Bengi's there. They're trying to bait this out as best they can, and they're finding the opportunities. Bang using the heal right there. He's got so much burst sustain or burst healing with the Blade of the Ruined King as well.
Yeah, just Bengi playing very wisely, knows exactly what Samsung's goal is, and is there to shut it down. Bengi is the ultimate tilter of Korean League of Legends. Brings out the Nunu, tilts the enemy team, tilts the enemy assassin in mid lane.
That's a great bait from Bang, though.
It was. I mean, Bang just sitting there. getting hit by Chum the Waters. Of course, I'm sure he would have also been fine not getting hit by it, but it didn't matter, so he wasn't too concerned about it. Now, Samsung, this is what this game has devolved into. They are just desperately waiting for a pick. The True Shot Barrage did go down onto Dragon, so SKT knows they're not there just yet. Meanwhile, Kube picked up Tier 2 and top, and can he get away from this? He's charging up his movement speed, but Bengi's catching up with the damage, and he's just going to keep going with his own movement speed. There's the Harpoon onto Kube. That's the end of that Robotic Pony. And we will have Samsung pick up their third Dragon, but they're losing a lot. I mean, they're trading evenly at this point with what they're taking. In fact, SKT taking a second turret.
Well, they traded right there a Tier 2 for a Tier 1. They got a Tier 2 and a Dragon for a Tier 1 and a kill. So that's still in their favor as long as SKT doesn't do something like take the Baron right now. And they're at least threatening it. That is something that Samsung has to take seriously. Fury, no mana though.
Yeah, Fury has had some issues with his mana management because he's so busy just clearing the lanes because his teammates are off split pushing. Samsung, I think they can really afford to group up. Yeah, sure, SKT has just the better team fight on paper, but you don't have to fight their way just because you're grouped as 5.
Right, well, here we go. Hecarim now back up, zipping into bot lane with the home guards.
Taking a little detour on the Gromps just to make sure that he stays up and farm. I mean, he still has a level advantage. Oh, now Marn just catching up to level 15. But look at this. We were at 10-1 kill score. Now 11-7 already. Easyun has the Abyssal on top of the Seraph's Embrace. You've got the Muramana now finished for Bang. And the Leandries and another Abyssal coming in for Marin. Face of the Mountain also for Wolf. So just a lot of ways to deny that assassination from Crown too. Zonias will be coming in soon enough on both of these top and mid laners for SKT, I'm sure.
Still just not a lot of wards on this Baron. SKT is able to keep eyes on it pretty much constantly. They're trying to sweep it out, but a Baron fight would be a great way for Samsung to press this edge a little bit more. Although they are going to have trouble. Crown really needs a Zonia's Hourglass right now to stay alive in some of these fights. And there are still wards everywhere around that pit, including in the brush. Wraith is standing in. Insufficient pinks at that objective, just 1. Now I have 2 now.
All right, there's a True Shot Barrage coming in as they saw Wraith leave the brush. They want to make sure they keep vision of that Baron, because that Baron could change a lot. I mean, that could really allow Samsung to play this full split push style that they've been focusing on. Here we go, grouping is 4, and this is going to allow Crown to pick up those kills again. Right now, he needs a little bit more oomph, and Bengi's going to get caught. There's a depth charge, and that should be an easy body slam. Chump the Waters, and the burst coming in from Crown. That's a quick kill onto Bengi. He was pretty tanky, but still with 3 people and extra lockdown, you're not really going to get out of that one. Kube taking a lot of damage from Marm because of that Leandry's Torment.
What are they going to do? Are they actually going to go for the Baron right now? They have to do something with that kill. They're just recalling and losing all their wards.
Oh, man. I mean, they got rid of the Locket of the Iron Solari with that kill, too, on the side of SKT. Now, Eve didn't get hit by the Winter's Bite.
They weren't even able to defend their wards off of that situation because Crown went into the top lane to push out the minion wave, and they had too many recalls. So now they're kind of back to square one. That kill did nothing.
Yeah, well, it gave Crown a kill. That is about where that ended. And we were impressed by Crown's play in lane, and you know he's been able to dominate very well so far. But his split pushing and his incessant need for farming those side lanes is proving to be a bane for Samsung.
Well, it's also just the reality of Fizz right now in the current meta. It is very difficult to close games on this champion if teams know how to play around it. His play style is pretty binary in terms of the split pushing or the backline dive, so if you're prepared for it, it's a good place to be in. And Easyhoon not so easily killable by the Fizz anymore. Abyssal Scepter and Seraph's Embrace, so a lot of shield, a lot of MR to help deal with that pick.
Yeah, well, Bengi gonna run right into Eve once again. Eve will just back out. Samsung going for the Scuttle Crab. It's gonna go down very quickly. Ward coming over the wall as Kuve continues to charge down bottom lane. Marn gonna come meet him. It's gonna be the Mech Yordle versus Robot Pony Joust.
It's what I always look forward to in my medieval tournaments.
Well, Samsung, now with the Scuttle Crab, they have guaranteed vision of this Baron buff for some time, but for what good? I mean, if you're just going to sit there on top of the Scuttle Crab, it's not exactly going to help you too much. Fury now transitioning nowhere, right onto the Scuttle Crab. There we go, clearing out some more wards, and Kuve has gone back. He can teleport in. Marin is still in lane, so Kuve has that home guard advantage, but he's sitting in base for a long time. I mean, they're trying so hard to bait this out. Oh, and here comes Bengi. He's going to run right into the enemy team, and there's the shields from his ultimate, actually. That's pretty huge on 4 people. Petrifying Gaze onto 3 people, and Fury gets the kill onto Easy down. Kuve goes in and chases Bang out of the fight. Fury has been exhausted, but he's going to use Summer to heal. He's trying to get out of it, and Crown forces everyone to run away. He gets another kill, and Kuve still locking up 3 people all on his own in the front. There's the hook back, giving another kill for Fury, and Samsung now walking towards the Baron pit.
Now, that was a very long bait from Samsung, and their patience actually made it work. Eventually, Samsung deciding that they had to face check that objective. They get the True Shot Barrage, but Marin has no equalizer to actually finish this up, Bang very low.
Yeah, Marin going in, they do just give the Baron over, and Chum the Water's not hitting, but Kuve does not care. Ah, nice arcane shift over the wall. It's going to save Bang's life. And Marin, you know, at that point, you knew your teammates still had some time anyway. Just trying to go for the chance steal with the damage over time from his Flame Spitter.
Well, SKT, we could have seen that a lot earlier in this game, realistically, from Samsung, too. As soon as they denied that vision, they were able to convert that advantage. And as soon as the True Shot Barrage was down, there really wasn't anything to check anymore. And Samsung just waited so long that SKT thought surely they must be doing it right now. And naturally, they had Bengi walk in first. They don't have a great way to check brushes besides Mystic Shot. And
depth charge onto Easy too, and then the hook right after allows him to just get killed. He uses Petrifying Gaze, but he just gets sent right in front of Fury. That's a beautiful explosive cast. Good equalizer from Marin, but not enough. Meanwhile, now Samsung contesting this red buff. They're going to have to walk away as SKT uses a lot of their abilities just to chase them out. True Shot Barrage down once again, and Fury just trying to put some poke damage down. But now with the Baron buff, their split pushing is all the more powerful. They have 4 stacks of Dragons, so now they can threaten that 5th stack, and at 5 stacks, their team fight's going to be pretty good. Bengi using that Locket of the Iron Solari because he's scared of these empowered minions.
Well, up until that last play, it was really quite close, but now it's likely over the top in favor of Samsung.
Yeah.
SKT fought back well this game, considering the disaster that occurred during the laning phase, but you really have to question SKT's builds that led them to this inevitability, where they had just such a huge trough in power with this double tier. I think Bang's build was really quite poor, not compensating for Cassiopeia's relative weakness in the early game.
Yeah, great. With that extra attack speed from his runes and masteries, clears the ward. And Crown still split pushing, but again with the Baron buff, it's going to matter a lot. Kuve also pushing down the bottom. They can pressure a lot more. And sure, SKT has some wave clear in mid thanks to the Cassiopeia and the Ezreal, but Fury has a lot of poke damage at the same time. Now, Eve did also go home during the Baron buff, wanted to finish a couple more items. Now has that Frozen Heart, top of the Locket, and the other defense items he started with. So Eve should be a really sturdy front line. Now what can they do with this pressure in the 3 lanes? Bang being sent back to deal with the top lane from Crown. That range being pretty important. Marin has been overheated. Meanwhile, Fury, a big one onto Bengi. Doesn't get hit by the Winter's Bite. It's going to matter a lot. And just trying to poke down the turret with his Bloodthirster shield, making good use of it. This is a very slow but pretty surefire push coming in from Samsung.
Yeah, and the inhibitor turret in the top side nearly already dead for what Crown is doing to it with his Lich Bane. Fury going to take a tier 2. Kuve gets some nice damage onto an inhib turret himself. Now they're just going to back off. Baron buff's out, so might as well reset up at this stage. They got a bunch of bunnies. Spend it while you can, and then start to prep for Dragon number 5.
Yep, they got about 2 minutes left for that Dragon. And yeah, lots of damage done to the inhibitor turret. So sure, you didn't end up getting the burst gold from those structures, but you got the tier 2, and now you can pressure the split push again, continuously just being really effective, although it was a little bit of a slump in the mid-game.
Here they go. Crown just let's take a few minions for the hell of it, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be in a pretty good place in terms of items. As that Zhonya's Hourglass, that's one more tool for him to survive once he gets into the back line, as well as mitigate the attack damage from Bang. Very helpful pickup. EasyHoon still working his way up to his. If EasyHoon had that, that would be pretty big for him.
Yeah, EasyHoon just going for more damage, just trying to rely on that Saris Embrace, but that's not going to be enough if Eve gets another good explosive cask. So the Zhonyas will have to come by at some point. A nice ward in lane by SKT to keep track of who's shoving which lane from Samsung. They're going to be aware of where Crown is. Who will they allocate to take care of that? There are 2 members in the jungle for Samsung, though, to provide backup and an easy kill for this Fizz once again. So much CC from Nautilus and Gragas put together.
You do have to admire EasyHoon's play, though. He died 3 times very early in this game, and now we're at 38 minutes nearly, and he has died only once more.
Yes.
So playing safe, actually being an effective force even when playing from behind, which can be said of pretty much everybody on SKT at this point.
Yeah, and Bengi just showing up to make sure Kube doesn't take this inhibitor turret. Two-Shot Barrage also coming in. That's going to chase him out. 1:20 left on Dragon. 20 seconds afterwards, Baron comes into play. Crown still looking for the sweet 1v1 kills, but SKT is really smart. They don't want to give that up anymore. They're not taking any chances the moment they see Crown anywhere in their own jungle.
And Samsung's already prepped this Dragon so well. On that split push, they made sure to clear vision well away.
Yeah.
There are no wards from SK Telecom really anywhere close to the Dragon right now.
Yeah, just only in the bottom lane, so they were only able to keep track of where Crown was in relation to that timing. 45 seconds, though. What will SKT do during this time? They're trying to push out a little bit with that ward next to the Raptors. They feel comfortable pushing back up to the tier 1. And Fury using his mana just to clear out the wave as soon as possible, give them some more breathing room near the Dragon. Now red buff spawns. SKT, can they safely go for it? I don't think so. Fury and Crown is here. Kube has that teleport. They're going to go ahead and start it. Bang should be able to burst it down. Fury might steal it, though.
Got it.
Yeah, all right. Well, it's going to hurt a little bit. It's not the end of the world, but it does matter a bit as Bang tries to get a lot of poke down from afar. He doesn't get the slow nor the true shot or the true damage. And 5th Dragon is up. Kube already going home to prep that home guard. And he could just come in a little bit earlier just to keep SKT distracted. But Samsung, oh, there we go. They were waiting for Kube, and Marin sees him. So Kube just turns all the way around and gets onto EasyHoon. EasyHoon in the way back. Crown does get completely zoned by the equalizer. But Kube's so strong. He's been exhausted. He's been petrifying Gaze, and he's still alive. There's to chump the waters onto Bengi, but they're distracted by Marin. A kill for Fury, a kill for Crown. That's 2 men down from SKT. The jungler also down, and it should be the 5th Dragon. That's what Samsung really cares about. They don't need to chase the ace in this fight.
Yeah, and that was a really good fight. It's not really going to get better for that for SKT. They had the Braum in the choke point, just absolutely zoning out Crown and Fury from the fight while they were able to kite out Kube. Marin was wrapping around the pit, maybe overcommitted to trying to stop Kube from getting into that fight, but Samsung just so far ahead.
Yeah, and here's the Baron setup, Wraith marching forward, but they know that SKT shouldn't be too crazy to be trying to take that with just 3 people. So they're going to shove the mid lane out first, maybe even just pressure it. And here we go, now going for that vision. EasyHoon with that elixir. And now has that death cap also. Looks like he will finally be prepping that Zhonya's. Uh-oh, 3 men set up for a pick onto Wraith. Wraith failed the first ward, but gets the second one. Finds the 3 of them. And Samsung kind of really wants that Scuttle Crab. Just going to smite it. He will have to wait if they want to go for Baron, but it's not going to be too bad. Now everyone on SKT is up. And everyone on Samsung is starting the Baron because they have 5 Dragon Stacks, locking up the Iron Solar used to just deny that extra damage from the True Sharp Barrage. And here comes the charge in from Kube. But Samsung just going to back out. None of their initiates hit. There's the equalizer. Just buying SKT some time. It does seem a little bit misled. Doesn't do the damage. I mean, Samsung can still just go back. That's an important ultimate use. I mean, if you use it on the entrance of the Baron Pit right now, it'd be so much better. But Bang gets caught by the hook, and there's the depth charge, and there's the Chum the Waters onto Wolf. A quick kill for Crown as Kuve charges forward, picks up a kill, and zones Easy Hoon out of the entire fight. The Cassiopeia is missing in action as we see Eve pick up another kill, and Samsung should be able to push through and finish the game.
Yeah, they're looking for the kill right here. Kuve can just home guard back in. They don't want to give him a chance to die to the damage over time with a full health Easy Hoon. Instead, go for the inhibitor. They may just, we'll see if they try and finish or if they're actually going to turn. Looks like they are going to go for the kill. They do have those 2 Sheens.
Yeah, Cassiopeia doesn't have her ultimate either, so you just got to dodge those poison pools. And then Crown just styling on the turret a little bit. Victorious dance, Chum the Waters being used, trying for the kill onto Easy, and Crown hungry for more. Playful Zonia's right there. Explosives cast being used as Fury finishes the game, and Samsung ties it up 1-1 against SKT, giving them their first loss in any one game.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to say Samsung played that out beautifully because they didn't. They did get a big advantage from the laning phase, and I think that due to some greedy itemization from SK Telecom, that they were able to take a win, but they did have some really good outplays on an individual level. However, you can still see the weakness. Yeah. SKT, that was such a big advantage with the items that they had, with the composition that they had, that Samsung should have been very decisive at closing that game out. Instead, they gave SK Telecom a lot of wiggle room. SKT came back.